Boy, and I just want to briefly talk about this war in Gaza. Really don't have anything planned. I just want to just kind of lay the emotions out there. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to all of the brave students, faculty, uh, just anybody who has been outright protesting this war. This genocide of the Palestinian people, those who have recognized and have done the research to understand the reality of what's going on over there in Israel. I remember being in college myself and just those protests that were hard, they were tough. You had to get through to a lot of people. I went to different protests, a lot of for different situations during that time. During when was I like 2012 was around the time I was in college. But yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good to see the young people letting their voices be heard. They're not backing down. They should not back down. They are the right party. They are the side of righteousness, of justice. For all those who push for peace in Gaza, not just in Gaza, but push for peace for both sides, who understand this conflict is of a Western design. That if the United States and the EU do the right thing and are not complicit in Israel's war crimes, then the conflict has a good chance of being resolved. So the whole war in the Middle East, there will never be peace in the Middle East, starts to become obsolete when you start remove key players out of the way. Now, this can go a lot of ways because I can just feel where I'm going in a political angle. But things just need to be said. So, America is a very politically immature country. We have many people who are like myself that understand the responsibility as a U.S. citizen to understand, look into the facts, to actually hear people out, to learn from those who actually interface and deal with the conflict. And this has been going on for far too long. I'm not a politician, I'm not someone in power. For me as well as other people to outpour and see what's going on, we have to send a message to our governments. I cannot remember the gosh, the name of the calling. One second. Okay, so one thing that we can do and is starting as soon as possible. Start today. Start cutting yourselves off from these major companies. I'm trying to find a list of those who support Israel. But there's a lot. There's a lot of them. So the companies that are profiting from the genocide of the Palestinian people. If I can flip this, let's just take a good look. So these are some companies that come up when you look into it. Customer boycott these targets. There's a lot of businesses in there we're familiar with, such as Puma, Remax, and so forth, SodaStream, Chevron, divest and exclusion targets. And again, none of this is easy. And then you look at the organic boycott targets. That's pretty easy for me. The organic boycott targets. Fuck all of them. Damn them all to hell. Intel, that's gonna be tough. It's a lot of things that we need to send a clear, direct message that we are not for war. And the pressure targets, the big time pressure targets. Majority of people's efforts in trying to divest from these genocidal, complicit organizations, the pressure targets are the most pivotal into making an impact. and just run a ram shot. In my opinion, I would run ram shot. I would just go leave negative reviews on things that I even liked and approve of. I would do everything I could to systematically um, take down, not so much take down like permanently or ever, but just make a huge inconvenience. Make Amazon spend all that money that they use to buy the United States government and pay off the postal service because they indirectly own the postal service. But again, that's a story for another day. The biggest one out of all these to target, or two, I like to say three, is Google, Amazon, Disney. If these three get targeted the most and they just hit the heaviest, this unenroll from Disney Plus, unenroll from Amazon, leave negative reviews on Amazon, on Google, leave negative reviews on Google. Just whatever you can do to dismantle all the hackers, you know what to do. All the way from the script kiddies to the nation states. We need hard hitters to do what's right, and anonymous and all that. We need everybody. We need everybody to do something and spreading the word. Let it be known. And again, this is nothing against the Jewish people. This has everything to do with Zionism. So, um, Zionism, for those who don't know, is a political ideology that has been adopted or is the main fuel of the government of Israel. The government of Israel is a, for lack of a better word, a false government. They're not. They were illegitimately put in power by the United States. That's supposed to be a compromise between the Palestinians as well as the Israelis. And um, the Hamas, Palestinian citizens just want peace. They just want to be left alone. But when you look at this map, it shows that a lot more has to be done to rectify the situation. It's not just stop the bombings. It's more that has to be done. As you see here, this was the map of the original compromise. This was the borders of Israel. As you can see, in 1946, when Israel was established, there wasn't much Israel. So they say, hey, we got to give more land and whatnot. So after wars and killing of Palestinians, then we get to the 47. I mean, no. My bad. This is how Palestine was before, and then establishment of Israel immediately, 1947. And this is the agreement that Hamas is seeking, which is not, it's not too out of the way. It's not too out of the way at all. Like, to me, that's pretty fair. That's really fair. And from what I'm hearing is they're not even asking for all this, but they should. Because as you can see, when the establishment of Israel, this is all what Israel was and what it was ever supposed to be. But somehow this turned into this. And then this turned into this today. And even less today, because again, this is 2012 when they did this, but they've been reports going all the way into, I remember 2016, 2018 of them taking more homes for settlers. And then you have the Gaza Strip right here. Today, this is currently really what Palestine is today, what has been relegated to, all to build a false state called Israel. Now, I don't want to get into the whole biblical, scientific, that Israel ever exists, because the Bible doesn't clearly point it out. Because the Bible itself, the Jews are doing what? One of two things. They are running out of or running into Egypt, not in Israel. They talk about it, but it's never been shown. No scholars ever confirmed that an Israel ever existed, besides being fairy tale of the Jewish people to try to push theology. Like it's we gotta call a spade, but for those who know, you know that Israel, as far as we know, is just as real as motherfucking Atlantis. So Take that for what you will. Also, in dealing with this, this comes with huge consequences for the United States and the West. And this is what I mean. People who are not countries and other powers who do not support this, no one in their right mind who has a decent soul would support this. But anyway, these countries know they cannot outright either disagree what's going on explicitly, or they must, withdraw support in different ways, just to try to not anger the United States for backing away from Israel. The EU again is complicit. A lot of those people are starting to question themselves. They should have been questioning themselves, but this is never a case of humanity, because if these people had any these Jewish people in Israel, if they had any humanity, they would understand the same exact thing that they're doing to the Palestinians today. It's the same thing that was done during Nazism in the 1940s. And what was done is it was complicity around the world to deny and just not care what was going on with the Jews. There was letters written from uh, 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 people in Congress over here talking to other people across the world in parliaments about what's going on in Germany and whatnot, what we're going to do about the Jews. It was a Jewish problem. Nobody had solutions. Nobody really cared. And that's the same exact position the Palestinians are today. So why are we letting history repeat itself, especially those who come from something historically so horrific as the Holocaust? It does not add up. It doesn't make any sense. But this is the consequences for the United States. And this is why we as American people need to shut down, deny, rail shot anybody who goes against this. Anybody who speaks down on peace, on the war of Gaza, speaks positive of Israel, they must be silenced. Not so much, I mean, like murdered, I mean silenced, and that you shout them out the room. You make them go mute. They know nothing. They are just sensationalists. They don't know anything. They are just propagandists. So what you must do is, as we as American people, if we care about our economy, we care about each other, we care about ourselves in this. This is where it gets dicey for us. In the event, because as you people might already know, there is this thing called BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, and China, South Africa, and many other countries. I remember one time it said a report was like 44 countries joined the agreement for BRICS. And this is a direct comparison to the dollar, direct competitor. So with it being a direct competitor, this threatens the petrodollar dominance. China has tried to threaten the petrodollar years ago for like everybody about 2 or 3 years. I'll read an article about them trying to come up with a strategy to defund the dollar. They failed, but through Russia and all them people coming together, BRICS has finally had some weight that the UAE and Saudi Arabia have jumped on board, and they have their ears open. And this is the start of the turning of the tide. The Arabian nations, because for all you people don't know, this goes back to the Balfour Agreement, which, long story short, this was a way to keep eyes on the Middle East and occupy that region of the world with those who the West could trust. They could be basically like South Africa, like a colonial state, just a hub to where they can watch and monitor everything that's going on in that part of the world, and a satellite hub. And it has done exactly just that. They have, when opposed to many other people that are not in line or cahoots with either genocide, paying off the United States on some mafioso shit. And if you see me on Bigo or any other platform, Twitter is always, I bring this up, that this is mafioso activity that we're seeing. These are criminal syndicate gangs. The biggest one being more so the Democrats, the liberals. They're shysters. They're ruthless. But if you understand world politics and what's going on in other people's countries, and understand that the border crisis in the United States is not unique to the United States, it is also going on in Europe as well. You will understand how much of this issue is really an issue. Oh, one second, I'm gonna plug up my phone. My phone going dead. But oh, 1 second. That never started up. I see. I see what the issue is. 1 second, y'all. Come on, pull it up, pull it up. So, what was I saying? So, BRICS countries. If you know anything about the recent wars in America, the war on terror, war in Afghanistan, you name it, it was all over these countries dropping the United States dollar as their currency. They started focusing more so on their own currency, or they did like Gaddafi, which had an idea, an agenda to unite Africa to have control of its own resources. So all of the charity that people send to Africans and to those lands, the exploitation, all of that could be mitigated. He was assassinated. Not just was he assassinated, they hunted down his family. Gaddafi, and they want people who are against the United States dollar or who pose a significant threat to its dominance to be silenced so much. Just pay attention. As the saying goes, just follow the money. If you ever really want to know what's going on in something, just follow the money. Saddam Hussein was taken out because he refused to continue supporting the United States dollar. War crimes. Saudi Arabia doesn't have war crimes. What's going on in what happened with the Uyghur people in China is not war crimes. What's happening to the West Papuan people in Indonesia, it's not war crimes. So what are we really saying when we try to be these saviors and police the world? America needs to be policed, but because the world doesn't have the arms to do so, and also it's not geographically been like advantageous, nothing gets done. But to other countrymen, other countries, and whatnot, what you guys can do is continue to push for that fight. Push your people to claim your resources, to devalue. As long as this conflict is going on in Israel, everyone in the world should be pushing to devalue the United States dollar and join BRICS. This is the type of stuff that goes on that, I can't even be mad if we woke up tomorrow and then America is a third world nation. We'll still have all the military, all the weapons and everything, but if on paper we just can't get anything done without potentially using those arms to harm others, to harm people. So that's as long as this conflict goes on, the longer it goes on, the closer people are to just joining BRICS, or more people joining BRICS, devaluing the United States dollar, and then figuring out more ways to figure out how to kind of hide and manipulate money and debts. I have a idea of what's going to happen in that regard too. Eventually, with our debt ceiling, but again, that's going way too far off topic. But that's the big consequence for us as American people. If we don't let these people know that the same way you don't care whether these people in Gaza live or die, we don't care about you. You have betrayed our country. You're treasonous. This is treason because the American people are not with this. Our hearts mourn for the people of Gaza. We pray for resolution to this conflict because it's not just women and children. I hate that we just say women and children, like we don't need men in the homes and so forth. But these are families. These are innocent people. And it's been like this for a while. And for every bad thing like this that happens that just get blown up, it's getting worse and worse and worse. A part of me believes that there's going to be a closer compromise to come in the end, but to look at just those numbers, the pictures of people being terrorized and clear terrorists being armed, that just boils my blood. So let's do the right thing and let's look deeply into our hearts, not just our hearts, but into our pockets. Dig deep into our pockets and defund this war machine, because it's not going to stop its own. Netanyahu, Israel, they will not stop. Biden's administration has said they fully support Israel. They will not stop them. And in the sense of a Trump presidency, and I kind of want to get too far off into this because it's off topic, but I just want to put this out there. Now, I was for Trump being president the first go round, because I understood how the media was playing him and whatnot. I understood it. But going into it the second go round, I'm on record for saying this. I do believe Donald Trump's going to wipe Biden off the map. And I do believe this is partially by design. Part of me believes Donald Trump is now on their side. He's not going to be the same Donald Trump that he was before. Some of the things that he said, he's going to have to go back on. And not just he has to go back on. Yeah, he's going to, I won't say make right, but his things that he said about giving Israel more money, as if that's what the American people want, it shows that he's out of touch. He's not as in touch as he was before. Now, again, a lot of that will depend on the team he has around him, because let's be real, Democrat, Republican, a lot of them are on the same side in these issues. It's just things get muddied for how they play this design of the red team, the blue team. But the fact of the matter is, Trump, he's going to be president unless something, nowhere comes out of play. He's in good health. He's going to be president. And it seems like the Democrats are bowing out. And this is their way of gracefully doing it. Because they have some agreements on that side that when you take over, you are to keep certain things going. Now, how they're going to do this, and the American people are going to be looking to Trump as a savior in a way, that's going to be that's still kind of a question for me. That's like, how is that going to be done? But yeah, yeah. Biden was clear fall guy ever since he came into office. If you look at the war in Afghanistan, his mental capacity, this was by design. This wasn't haphazard. So we must articulate these things as what they are, and to not sugarcoat them. Like, this is clearly treason. The American people were hoodwinked. The representative for the Democratic Party at this moment in time, it should be Bernie Sanders. The majority of people right now will take Bernie Sanders over Donald Trump as well as Biden. But they know by keeping things the way it is and by this design, we're not going to get any results. And for those people who have read Morals and Dogma from the Scottish Rite, Albert Pike, you have an idea as to why. This system was predicated off of confusion and manipulation, and capitalizing off of others, in particular the poor. So I'm just gonna leave it right there right now. I can just ramble on for days talking about this. But I wish you all a good day or good night, whatever you are, wherever you are. Thank you for watching, and peace and Black power, and peace to all love, peace to all people who preach love and understanding.